It is Friday. We're here. We did it. I tried to cue in a little bit better at my timing with the music that's playing at the same time. I got so much closer this time, so much closer. And I am in a different spot, and I still have the sound going. So as you tune in, if you can give me a thumbs up that you can hear the sound just fine, that'll be super helpful. We are, as I said at the beginning of this week, if you tuned in, trying out new things, trying to be sure that we're able to give you lots of clear quality content. And today I'm also switched it up on my location, as you can see. I'm usually back in that room there, and I found that when I'm there, the sound is too close together, and so it ends up bouncing off of each other. And so while that has better lighting, here we are, and then it's also super cloudy and dark today. I sat myself in front of a window for two purposes. Number one, to get some natural light, but y'all, it's dreary today in Dallas. I don't know where it is or how it is where you are, if you're starting your day or finishing your day, but wow, it's, let me see if I change my light a little bit, if that, does that help? You guys, we figured it out. Yay! See, we just have to hang in here together and we'll get some more clarity. Get it? That was a good one. Okay. Thank you for that. Look at that. You helped me so much. Check I can check off now one of my goals, which is to be better at lighting and sound today. I'm Kristen, by the way, and this is Parent Power Hour. You are in the right place. Things look a little different. I am in a different spot, and I washed my hair. Yay! If you've been with me, you kind of know that it's a thing, and I even mentioned it yesterday. I was like, I'm going to try really hard not to talk about my hair every day, but you know what? I gave away a secret, which was if my hair's like pulled back or strapped back somehow, it's a sign that I have been working out in the mornings before I come do the live here with you. And today it's a sign that it's the end of the week because, you know, it's Friday. Gotta wash the hair. I'm glad we're getting to know each other this way. It feels really good. I hope it feels good for you too. So this is Parent Power Hour. You are in the right space. Good morning or good evening, Elizabeth. Hey, you're here. Can you give me a thumbs up? You're the first one that I know that's live with me. I think there's some others that are here, but not quite, they're not on my friends list. So if you give me a thumbs up that you can hear me okay, that's going to be really helpful. I also think that if others were in here and couldn't hear me, they would have commented already. So we'll just keep going on. So yes, I'm in a same room, different spot in the room. I was hoping to get some more natural light. Awesome, there was a thumbs up. Thank you. And it's super, super cloudy today. But here we are. It's Friday. We made it. Parent Power Hour is here. We are usually about making sure that we are taking care of ourselves so that we can better take care of those around us. Kind of the whole oxygen mask concept is what we're here for. Great, I got another heart. Good, I know that somebody else is here. And can hear me. So yeah, whether you're a parent or not, if you're a teacher, if you're at home, if you're on your own, chilling at home, and usually you are surrounded by people, I hope that you're tuning in and getting something from our time here together that is giving you some new ways to think, that is inspiring you, that is real, that's things that you can take and apply immediately to your life if you're starting your day, if you're in the middle of your day, that you can take with you throughout the rest of the day. And if you're finishing up your day today, like some I know that are on the other side of the world watching this, that they are finishing up and that it's something you can think about and while you're finishing up your day, reflect on, and then how you can start tomorrow. The beauty of what we're experiencing is that, well, there's a lot of beautiful things. There's a lot of not beautiful things, but there are also a lot of really beautiful things in that we can take the time, we can choose to take the time to be intentional about every day that we have in front of us. And I've joked a few times that every day kind of feels like a week. I'm always like, what week was yesterday? Because I literally said that to somebody in a phone call. He was like, I don't even know what time it is. Is it what time? And I was like, I don't even know what day it is. Like, what week was yesterday? What week is today? Every day is feeling, wow, it's not necessarily long, but there's just a lot, you know. I mean, I think that's one also, even on the same phone call with someone I had never talked to before, and we're chatting about some business things, and he's like, yeah, he's like, you know, I'm trying to kick some stuff off, and he's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I had like just knee jerk, I was like, I think everybody I talk to says that. Like we all end up like talking around how we're handling life right now, and then we all finish it with, it's a lot. And that's why we're here. That's why we come to Parent Power Hour together. If you're here live, you're able to get settled, get the kiddos working on something, so that you have time to yourself. And if you're watching it recorded, go ahead and pause it, get comfortable. We're going to review some of the topics that we've talked about the past few episodes as a recap, and then get into some new things today. So this week has been focusing on, first of all, my invitation to all of you to join me in participating in the next 90 days challenge. That's part of why I am working out in the mornings before I come on live with you all, and why my hair is wet today, because I showered. Thank you very much. I know, it's like, wow, Kristen, you're an adult. If you're one of my friends, you're like, yay! Not that I don't shower. Anyway, we're gonna move on. Who has time for that? So the next 90 days challenge is about focusing on every day and setting goals for yourself every day, and ultimately prove to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can do things that will give you something to focus on, that brings you clarity to your why, and that gives you something to keep running in the back of your mind when you're still in the middle of all of the other turmoils and experiences that you're having, whether it's being alone all day or it's being surrounded by people all day. We're all in one of those spectrums, right? We're either like, oh my word, there's too many people around all the time, and those people are my family and I love them. Oh my word, I need to take a break. It's a lot, right? Or you're chilling at home because you're on your own and you've got your pets, or you've got, you know, Zoom calls and WebEx calls and Marco Polos and FaceTimes and all the other ways that you're keeping in touch with everyone. Yet you're still experiencing throughout one day a lot, right? And so keeping in the back of our mind a 5 to Thrive really grounds us, for lack of a better term. I know that's a little bit hoo-ha, hooey stuff. You know, people are like, oh, just, you know, yogis say that. But it centers us. It gives us focus. It gives us a more clear purpose and meaning. And whether you are spiritual or not, whether you're religious or not, it is important for all of us to feel connected to who we are, who we're meant to be. It's important for all of us to feel sure, and to find clarity in that. And if you're not feeling sure, that's a sign. That's a sign that you should check. That doesn't mean stop your life and, you know, go into total overhaul and change everything about your life. But what it does mean is it is an invitation for you to check in, to kind of do a self-evaluation. And the 5 to Thrive is a great place to start. Every day we are for 90 days, and we are now on day 5, and we are doing 5 to Thrive every day, drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. And as I'm doing these, I'm like starting to check off in my mind, like, did I do that yesterday? I got close. I think I had about 30 more ounces left at the end of the day that I still needed to consume. Let me do some math in my head. No, I reached it. I reached it. I had like my water bottles, how many ounces and how much. Okay, we're good. So there's that. Daily gratitude. Writing down, you guys. Writing down 5 things that you're grateful for every day. It doesn't have to be on a specific place. It could just be a blank notebook. It could be scrap paper. It could be maybe one of your things that brings you joy is to make stuff and to be crafty. And so maybe you want to make your own journal. Maybe I have a really cute one that I bought. I am crafty and I like to make stuff, but I also like really pretty things that other people have made. And I write down every morning the 5 things I'm grateful for. And in that same practice, this is not particularly part of the 90 days, but to also write down 10 things that are your goals, and it's the same 10 things every day. We're going to skip over that one for now because that's a whole separate shebang. Move your body 30 minutes a day at least, hence the wet hair, hence my yoga in the morning or dance cardio that I just found this week that the app that I use just started publishing, releasing, and I love it. It's so silly. Oh my word, you guys, it takes me back to, like, did you guys ever do Billy Blanks? I'm showing my age here, which I'm okay with. But you guys remember doing Billy Blanks? Like, just the punch, he was like the fitness guy. He had some tagline that I can't remember right now, but I remember it stuck with me. Videos. That's what I was doing back in, what was that, early 2000s? Yeah. Yeah, because it was around college. I remember like, Mom, I gotta take my Billy Blanks videos, VHSs with me to school. Oh gosh, but it's just like the outfits and everything and like the production. So the app that I use, they're obviously doing real-time production as well, even with the social distancing, because everybody that's in their videos are in very different scenarios. It's still highly produced. Somehow they still all have amazing lighting and sound and all of that. But they're alone, and they're usually not alone. They're usually in a studio with other people, and I think that's what's taking me back to the Billy Blanks kind of style. As also, they're intentionally throwback in their fitness clothes, like 80s, like those white Reebok high tops. You guys know the squishy ones that like cheerleaders wore. If you're a cheerleader, you wore them. You wore them. You know you did. All right, so that's how I'm moving my body. I do better when I have something that I tune into, whether it's an app or a pre-recorded video or something like that, or live. There's lots of live workouts. YouTube, you guys, there's so much free stuff flowing on right now with the ways that you can move your body. And it doesn't have to be a workout. It can just be a walk around the neighborhood. It can be walking the pets. It could be dancing for a dance party with your kiddos. That's going to be great for them too, right? Um, that kind of brings in the thought that, oh my gosh, how awesome would it be as a family to practice these 5 to thrive? Like, you could keep tally in your house, like in your kitchen, of how many ounces of water that everyone should be drinking. The kiddos, even if they weigh 40 pounds, are they drinking 20 ounces of water a day? Like that, make it a thing, make it a group thing. The other category is something, of course, you wouldn't apply to kids, doesn't translate as well, but one of the other 5 to thrive is to eliminate one category of food that you know isn't good for you, that isn't doing your body good, that doesn't make you feel good, right? Putting in the water and taking out some category of food that you know isn't good for you. It could be carbs, it could be chocolate, it could be wine, it could be peas if you eat too many peas, it could be carrots if you eat too many, whatever's not good for you. So the idea is that you are taking something out that's not good for you, and you are putting something in that is good for you. Moving your body for at least 30 minutes every day in some way, doing a gratitude practice, and then the one I always forget, and I think it's a subconscious thing because it's also the hardest one for me, is waking up an hour earlier every day than you usually do so that you have time for yourself. And be realistic, as they say in the challenge. If you're, oh, Justin's here. Good morning, Justin. It's a lovely cloudy day here in Dallas. So glad you could bring some sunshine to us with your start the day with your singing. You are just fine. He's doing Friday wonders, and it's super fun for me to see someone get out there, and you're doing great. You're being a great model to those of us. Just get out there and do something that we love, and be real with it, right? So it's kind of reviewing this week's topics and how we kicked off this week with my invitation to you, inviting you to join me in participating in the next 90 days challenge. Yes, Justin says, I imagine, or in my image, I imagine 200 people saying, "You'll take my wine from my cold dead hands." Yes, exactly. I have to read the comments out loud because these are recorded and then they're placed on newminds.tv. And when they're recorded there, people will be missing out on all the fun that we're having here when we talk to each other on chat. So I got to include them. So with that invitation, the idea there is that we could collectively do something together. And I was just kind of for the first time thinking about how awesome it would be for you to get your family involved and as a family focus on the 5 to Thrive. What if you sat down at breakfast and if you've got 3 kids and the mom and the dad, all 5 of you say one thing that you're grateful for. I mean, what a shift that would have in your family, right? And if it's not at that moment, maybe it's at dinner. Maybe it's while people are starting to do their daily schoolwork or their work. You probably know this already, but as educators, we know that when kids are busy doing things, they're a lot more likely to open up to you and talk to you about things. So if they're coloring, if they're building something, if they're busy with their hands, they're a lot more likely to be in another level in a space in their brain where they're focused on that physical activity that's calming them or that's something that they enjoy, and just chit chat with them. And that could center around, well, what are you grateful for? Well, what's something that excites you? What's something that you think might get in the way if you are excited about doing something and we're doing it today? And what's something that you think might trip you up if you start to get into that and, it starts to like not feel as exciting anymore? What could you do about that? And starting to have that conversation. And these are all things that we've covered this past week. Because that empathy fatigue is something we talked about in episode 11, is something that happens not only for us as the adults in the home or in our interaction with each other, but also for kids, right? We also talked about the mirror neurons and how it's simple enough that, when you pick up a glass of water, somebody else might also do it. It's subconscious. Our brains are actually like wavelength connected to each other. And so when we start to even mirror each other in practicing gratitude and being intentional, yes, Ben says the attitude of gratitude. And welcome, Ben. Glad you're here this morning on Friday. It's probably cloudy where you are too. And so getting all of these things that we have covered this week, we can always apply those to our kiddos and talk about them in that way as well. I also invited you to start thinking about how you might shift from saying, I don't have time for that, to it's not a priority right now. And it could be a mental shift of when someone, your kiddos or someone comes to you with something, excuse me, that was not a priority. I don't have time for that. So sorry about that. And I think I did it like towards the mic. So, well, this is real. What are we going to do? It's not COVID, you guys. I'm okay. It's just a sneeze. But to switch what we have to say about that, instead of saying, I don't have time, to have a mental shift as well as an external shift and catch yourself. If you find yourself saying you don't have time for that, give yourself a break. Know that really what you're saying is that it's not a priority at that moment because you're making dinner and Billy's asking you to do homework. And you can say that, and how clear can you be? Like, what a gift it is for Billy to hear you say, okay, Billy, it's important for you to get your homework done right now and your math, and you're having some trouble and you've asked me for help. My focus right now, my priority is getting dinner done. And as soon as that's done, it'll be about 20 minutes. You know what? The pasta's boiling. So while the pasta's boiling, I have 1.5 minutes left on the timer. I'll help you out, and then I have to go back. And that's so clear. And it's such a great model also to Billy. Instead of you being like, listen, I'm not done with dinner yet. I've got all this to do. And I'm just so tired of everybody. Wow. That's a completely different response, right? And as the adult, filtering through that. And one of the other tools that we reviewed this week that's going to help you to filter through that is releasing the tension from one activity to the next. That when you're finished dinner or when you're making dinner, you have and you're active and you're in all of that. You have experience and you have frustration because Billy's asked you 3 times and you've told Billy every time and every single time, Billy, it's not my priority right now. Right now, my priority is this. You are my priority in life. And as soon as this is finished, I will be getting to you next, right? He's not just gonna ask once to sit down. We all know that. He's asking. And so when you are at the part where you can step away and start to help Billy with the math, release the tension that you were just experiencing. Release. Tell yourself in your head, say it out loud if you have to, before you go and sit down at that table, or before you go over and help Billy with his math, because when you don't release that intention, you carry when you don't release the tension, you don't go into the next thing that you're doing with intention. So release the tension and set the intention that you do want to have. Yes, Ben says he actually is grateful for the clouds. Yes, I. It's a different mood. It definitely makes me want to. It definitely makes me want to like have a cup of coffee and a fireplace, and that's all. That's all. Glass of wine and a good movie. That's all. Wait, no, I'm just kidding. I won't keep adding to it. And Justin says, poor Billy. He sounds like me as a child. We all have Billies in our lives. I think at some point we were all a Billy as well. So yesterday we talked about what can we do, because the next thing after we're generating this, we're setting these intentions for every interaction we have. And the other thing that I'm hearing a lot of people say, in addition to it's a lot, right? And any conversation you're having, I bet you are experiencing it as well, that people just start to blah blah, and then I worry about this, and then they just, after their trail of worries and after their trail of, of, of venting, which we all must do, find someone that is a trusted source for you to do that. Encourage you to find one or two people that you know are there for you to hold you down and all of that. Instead of spraying it everywhere, instead of every single conversation you have with other people is the same one over and over, because when you're doing that, you're giving power to all of those fears and that long train of all the things that you're worrying about, and you haven't quite released what's in your brain yet. You haven't done that brain dump. Go back to episode 2, 3, 4. We talk about how when we have a clear mind, when our mind are empty or they have ideas, we can't create ideas. Our minds are not meant for having and holding them. It's not meant for holding them. It is meant for having them. So it's not meant for holding those ideas, but creating ideas. Yes, then Starbucks is like first phase. It's all the liquids for me, for like my ideal life. It's like definitely coffee first, then wine is in there somewhere. All right. Justin says he's replying to himself. This is how he knows that Kristen Romer, that's me, walks the talk. She's amazing and transitioning and refocusing. Ooh, thank you. I received that compliment. Thank you so much for that. It's not easy, right? I mean, it's practice. I had a lot of thought about that this morning because, of course, I was doing my yoga this morning, and yoga is one of the first places where I really started to transition my thinking about practice. And I'm a musician by my life. Started taking piano lessons when I was 4. So I've been a musician my entire life. I have 2 degrees in music. Vocal performance is my as I like realize how I'm speaking to you. Whenever I say I'm a vocalist, I all of a sudden start realizing, my speaking voice. How do I sound? Anyway, I'm going to speak on the breath. But practice has had a really, really negative connotation for me for the majority of my life. And, because you practice to get perfect. At least that's the way I was originally trained in music. And you run those scales. Even if you're singing, you sing those same 8 phrases in Italian over and over in 72 different ways, and that's practice until you have the perfect tone, the perfect pitch, the perfect articulation, the perfect phrasing, the perfect breath support, And so practice to me has always had this super negative, like, I don't want to it's repetition. It's over and over. What's the point? What's the point? And so when I began teaching music, and when I first found like a sound pedagogical approach that I identified with, I realized that, that's where my first experience was, whoa, it's about the process. What? It's about the process of the practice. And when I experienced yoga, I never was interested in it. I was like, I am not Flexi Lexi. Like, I can't even touch my toes. Forget it. And a girlfriend of mine was like, Kristen, we got to do this together. And our friend was practicing. She was getting her hours to be certified. And so of course for me, I was like, well, I'll do it to help her out. I mean, that's what I'll do. I'll go help her get her hours to be certified. And so that's how I landed up on yoga. And for my first probably 2 to 3 months, if not years, I solely went for the end when you just lay there. It's called Shavasana. And I'd be like, okay, fine, down dog, fine, triangle pose, fine, tree pose, Shavasana. I can just lay here. Um, and that was my end. And my first instructor, she's amazing, and she's still practicing. She's incredible. She has a huge studio, and she's super grown into this whole area. Still living in Dubai, and I think knowing her personally helped me as well, because she really helped me to shift this concept of practice. That we practice these things, and it's a lifelong practice. There is no arrival at all of the things to know about how to move your body in yoga. There's no arrival. It's not like, yes, I did it, I'm done. I sang that aria perfectly, I'm going to move on. No, it's not that. Um, and so for me, I've been able to see the power of that practice and be easier on myself, even when it comes to things like new tools like I'm sharing with you all. And I'm sure that many of you can identify as well, like how you might shift the pressure that you put on yourself to be perfect, to have that perfect performance at the end of it. If you're like, okay, I'm practicing at releasing the tension. I'm practicing at setting the intention. I just blew up at Billy for the 7th time today, and it's only 9:30 in the morning. That was some bad practice. I'm going to practice again for the next hour. Okay, yeah, let's see what Elizabeth says. She goes, when I got the Zoom lesson to bake a pie crust today, I recognized the gift of that lesson. Thank you for the gift of recognizing gifts. Yes, that's something we talked about yesterday. Thank you, Elizabeth, for bringing that into the conversation, because that's where we ended yesterday, and that's kind of where this whole practice concept is. I'm bringing us back. Thanks for bringing us back, Elizabeth. Is that we practice these things, including how we're generating the feelings that we want to have, how we're generating the energy that we know is required for each day, and how we are bringing the joy. And that was one of the next steps of how we can generate energy, which is bring the joy. It's an active thing. It is a conscious decision to bring the joy. And I was washing my hair this morning, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice the 3 questions that I invited everyone to also try it out and see. The first question is, what can I be excited about today? I was washing my hair, and I was like, all right, I'm thinking, what can I be excited about today? And the next question is, who or what might trip me up? And we dipped into this a second ago when we were reviewing. Who or what might trip me up or cause me stress? And how can I respond in a positive way from my highest self? We'll come back to that in a second. And the third one was, like Elizabeth just said, who can I surprise with a thank you gift, with a thanks, with a moment of appreciation, with, Justin and Elizabeth, you're done for the day. You're good. You just did it for me. You just showed me appreciation, and that is huge for me. If anybody else wants to pop in, you can just bring it on. Words of affirmation. Yeah, you can tell I'm like, I'm beaming. But for real, find those are the 3 things, and that third thing is find a way to bring someone else, to show them that they are a gift, to even say when something good happens, and that's what Elizabeth was commenting on a second ago, when something good does happen, start calling it a gift. And start saying, wow, what a gift that you had the time to be on a Zoom lesson to learn how to make pie crust from scratch. And she sent me a picture of her quiche that looks delicious, minus the ham. It's all right. She knows I would just scoot it off to the side anyways if we were having it together. But the fact that she was able to have that time, she planned to do something that gave her excitement, whether or not it was that it was flying around anyways and it was an invitation, and she took it. She took the invitation. And that we do that every day. And so for that day, maybe she planned it or not, but when she was getting ready on that day, she probably said, You know, what can I be excited about today? I can be excited about my Zoom lesson on how to make my pie crust. And who or what might trip her up and causing her stress? How could she respond in a positive way from her highest self on that thing? I'm curious, Elizabeth, did you experience any stress during all of that? Did you experience any getting tripped up, frustration? And if so, if you could teach us, share with us, and teach with us, or teach us like what was your thinking process? This is where I wish I had like a little grabber where I could just like grab from the comments and like put you up here for everybody to see, so you could just pop in and teach us. We'll get writing. We'll get on that. We'll develop that software. Don't worry, guys. Oh, Doug's here. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see what he says. I love this conversation that we're having today. He says, and so often our children only get to try things once. You're so right to take the spotlight away from the product and move to the try. Oh my goodness. Yes and yes. Can we get an amen on a Friday? How many times are we asking our kids to do just like he just said? Do that math homework, do that math problem. Come on, Billy. He tries it once. That's it. He thinks he's done, right? He's tried that one problem that one way. We're not even sure where it came from because we don't say this in our family. We think it must be coming from preschool. But it's starting to shift, which is great. My 2-year-old nephew, he's the baby. He's so cute. Oh my word, he is so cute. And he knows it. And he loves snuggles and getting kisses. He's super social, you guys. Like, you talk about lighting up with attention. he, yes, if there's a group of people around, he gets so excited. He doesn't even know how to handle himself. Of course, he's 2, so he just screams. He's so excited. So that kind of gives you the background on him. And he also will do things, and he's the youngest, and so he'll quit pretty early, which is very different from his brother, who's 2 years older. And the 4-year-old will hyper focus on things. I mean, he will sit with it. He will try it a million different ways. He will problem solve it, and he actually does make things harder for himself on purpose. He will make things super, this is the 4-year-old, he'll make things super hard, so then he has to figure out a new way, right? And so the other side of that is the little one. And so the little one is, like most second children, will say, I can't do something, and everybody goes and rushes and helps, or the big brother helps. And so a lot of times the little one, the 2-year-old, he's been saying for probably about the last 6 months or so, I can't. Like, if he's trying to get 2 of those big Duplo blocks to stick together, I can't. And so I've been very, like the first few times my sister and I heard him say that, we're like, we've never said that. Like, where does that come from? Like, I can't. Whenever we're figuring out things, like we don't do that in this family. And so, of course, it's been like a gentle redirection of that phrasing. And it's starting to kick in, because even the older one, when he's teaching the 2-year-old, when the 4-year-old's teaching the 2-year-old, he'll say to him, he'll say, Byron, we don't say I can't. He says we say I try, because that's what we've been saying. And I've been even saying to Byron, like, Byron, did you say I can't? Yeah, Kiki, I can't. They call me Kiki. Kiki, I can't. Byron, say I'm trying. He'll go, I'm trying. Say, I need help. I need help. Right, I'm trying. I need help. I will help you. Right? And it's starting to shift also. It's starting to shift. Like he said, I'm trying. He'll be like pushing them together, and we'll go, I'm trying. I'm like, that's right. Keep trying. Try another way. What else can we try? Okay? This is how we're weaving in these parenting tips to our own self-development and our own personal life, right? Let's check in. Elizabeth says, okay, so she's going to teach us how she worked through something that might have tripped her up in her experience. So she says, it didn't go well with rolling out the pie crust, but Rami, the girl who was teaching her, it didn't go well with rolling it out, and Rami was stressing out. So the girl that was teaching her was stressing out. So I balled it up and threw it into the pan and fit it in there. I don't need it to be perfect. I'm the only one eating it anyways, and it's my first time to rustic looking baking. I love it, Elizabeth. Yes, rustic is in. Hello. The girl I love, Half Baked Harvest, follow her. She's amazing. And I met her. I got a picture with her. Oh my God. So many great things are happening today. But yeah, rustic is in. And how interesting though, did you see that though? That she says that the girl that was teaching her was stressing out, and that probably had something to do with that, right? Because the girl who's teaching her has had all of the hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of practice, right? And so she's expecting you to just be able to reproduce the thing that she has perfected, which is amazing pie crust, which, oh my word, her pictures, oh my word, like she's amazing. And this is not her profession. This is her passion. And she has pursued it long enough, and now it is her talent. And so she's trying to do that with Elizabeth. She's trying to teach Elizabeth how to also pursue her passion. Elizabeth just started, so Rami needs to just recognize and meet people where they are and know that. Okay, Rami, if you're listening, give yourself a break. Okay, your students aren't going to get it right the first time, right? Just like Doug said, we don't just get one chance at something, we keep trying it. And so, how's it going? Are you trying these questions out? Are you generating your joy? Are you trying out shifting your thinking from me to we? Modeling that for your kids. The question that we're going to just touch on here real quick before we go is recognizing that in the middle of all of this, that there's certain things that will trigger us, right? Whether it's past experiences of having practiced and failed each time, or if it is past experiences of, it could even be a positive thing that you're so worried about reproducing that triggers you as well. So as an adult, I probably could go confidently in the direction of saying that you know what triggers you, whether it's positive or negative triggers. And so the idea is that you can choose. That's been an ultimate theme for at least the past 2 weeks that we've been talking about, is that you can choose what triggers you and you can reset. You guys, this is so powerful. You can reset your triggers. If you're 25 years old, 35 years old, 85 years old, you still have the opportunity, the power, the experience within you to totally reset, retrain your triggers. It takes practice, it takes failing, it takes daily repetition, if not more often, but we can retrain ourselves with triggers. We can have new triggers, and that's the idea here that we're landing on today, and that I hope that you can take this on and let it set in, see what sits right for you. But I'm going to read off to you a few options of ways that you can start to reset your triggers, because how this connects also to what we've talked about this week is focusing on the feelings that we want to have. That was last week. Focusing on the energy that we want to create. Focusing on the empathy, focusing on the priorities. So all of that can be done when you also are intentional. Here it is again, another connection with the way that we have our triggers set up, and you can trigger yourself on purpose. You can retrain. So here we go. Hope you guys love this. I do. I mean, it's another one of these things where next time we're all together, like in a meeting or something, you're going to be like, I see you. You're working on a trigger. And I'll be like, yeah, I am. Okay? So the first one is a notification trigger. So easy. Oh my word, you guys. So easy. You can put a phrase on your phone, especially iPhone people, other people. Give us a hack or something, Justin. I know you don't have an iPhone, but I'm sure it's a capability. Let us know if it's not. Oh, good. Doug is sharing some more good news that baby Asher, he had some tubes put in his ears and he's heading home already. Ah, that's such good news. Thank you for sharing that, Doug. Asher is just a little bit over 1 year old. Asher's mom's part of our team, And that is, what a gift. Thank you for sharing that gift with us, Doug. That's really helpful. You guys, it's super cloudy. What a lovely day. We're having a great time. I don't know. Okay. Bring the joy. That's our first trigger. What can you be excited about? You can edit your phone notifications. I would show you right now, but I'm also like checking myself on my phone over here. But you can set a timer, an alarm timer on your phone, and change the title of that timer to be a trigger for you, to be a phrase, to be something that you want to focus on, it could be the 3 words, bring the joy. Set up every day at 10:41. Choose a time also that you know that you're typically going into a meeting. Okay, I'm starting to meld all these triggers together. So let me back up a little bit. Second one is the door frame trigger. I haven't practiced this one yet. Doesn't mean I won't, but the second trigger is every time you walk through a doorway, you say to yourself, I will find good in this room. I'm entering this space happy and ready to serve. I will find good in this room. I'm entering this space happy and ready to serve. I'm going to leave this, there's a door right there. I'm going to leave this room when we're done. I'm going to leave that doorway and say, I'm going into the hallway and say, I will find good in this space. I'm entering this space happy and ready to serve. I go downstairs, go into the kitchen to make my coffee. I'm entering this space with happy and ready to serve. I think that this is something that, especially if you're in the workplace, this will also be another step to releasing the tension. Because as you're leaving that desk, it could even be getting up. I would even alter it and not necessarily call it a door frame trigger, but just a transition trigger, right? That might be in here. So let's keep reading. The third one, a waiting trigger. Whenever you're waiting in line to buy something, ask yourself, wait in line to buy stuff. It's 2020. We don't do that. Okay, here's one. Waiting in line for the drive-through. We're in Dallas. We can still drive through and pick up food right now. It's going to be funny in like 2 years when somebody's watching this and they're like, what's up? Why can't people wait in line at the grocery? Anyway, that you ask yourself on a level of, give yourself some of those ratings we talked about Monday, I think it was episode 11, about rating yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My energy level's a 5. I'm present and aware and being fully myself right now. That's a 4. That's a 2. So doing a check on yourself. And the specific question here is, what level of presence and vibration do I feel right now on a scale of 1 to 10? So if you're standing and waiting, that's a trigger. Number 4 is the touch trigger. That touch is vital to well-being and happiness. If you're not living, or if you're not hunkered down with people, with humans, then maybe you are with other animals or pets. I'm curious. I can't think of a solution right now if you're at your house without animals or pets and you're also social distancing. So this one is a big red flag for me, because it's like, right now in this kind of environment, how do we do this when it says that touch is vital to well-being and happiness? The tip here is that when you're getting introduced to someone, shaking their hand, and a lot of cultures, hugging is 100% part of it. Kiss, kiss on the cheek. We're not meeting new people right now, but if you were to interact with someone that's in part of your social group that you're not social distancing from, touching base on that one. So let's move on. The fifth one we've already talked about is the gift trigger. It's saying, what a gift. What a gift that we get to be here together today. What a gift that Elizabeth and Doug and Justin have chimed in on the conversation with us. That we're all contributing in here together. What a gift. The sixth one is the stress trigger. Whenever things feel like they're getting out of hand, you can stand up, take 10 deep breaths, and ask, what's the positive thing I can focus on, and the next right action of integrity. Whoa, that's a big one. What's the positive thing I can focus on in the next right action of integrity that I should take right now? Yeah, and that was the 6 of them. Let's see what Justin says. Every time we walk through a doorway or short-term memory, our short-term memory does a quick refresh, essentially scanning for dangers. Stack that subconscious habit with a conscious habit, like standing up straighter and or breathing deeply. Thank you for that tip. I love that. Yes, that not only are we refreshing, but that we're adding in this habit, and it could be saying a question to yourself in this phrase that's recommended here, but also Justin is saying that it's powerful as well to go ahead and do a conscious habit added on top of that, something like standing up straighter, or when you enter the room, take a deep breath in, and then let it go. So gratitude is the golden frame through which we see the meaning of life. And when we're able to consciously bring the joy, when we're able to consciously reset and refresh and go in through with intention, it feels like a lot. If it feels like a lot, don't do it. Do one thing. Practice one thing. For quite a while, I've had on my phone some triggers for me set up on purpose, knowing that there's usually one schedule. Excuse me. There is usually one scheduled at 1:38. I can't remember why I decided on that time, but at 1:38 every day, I have a reminder, that an alarm that goes off on my phone that says connect. Not that I have a problem connecting with people. That's actually not what it's about. It's about me connecting to my priorities with who I know I am, and I know that, and now you all know it. But at 1:38, when my alarm goes off, it says connect, and that reminds me to stop, or if I'm in the middle of something, hit snooze. When I'm finished with that thing, it's still going off. Then I look at it and I think connect, connect. In my head, I go back and I say, is what I'm doing right now in connection with who I am, who I want to be, the people I'm serving, the things that I'm doing, whether it's productivity or whether it's service to others. I have another one that's at 5:38, and I chose that time because I'm typically driving home, or I am transitioning. And that one is, we did it last week. Instead of doubt, delay, and divide, it's confidence, action, connection. So that reminder there is that at the end of my work day, when I was typically driving home in the past, and now it is usually about the time that we are wrapping up meetings and things as a team for New Minds, that at 5:38 that alarm goes off, and I remember and I reflect. Am I going forward with what I'm doing with confidence? Am I taking action towards the things that I want to become, and the things that I, whether professionally or that I am personally pursuing? And then am I staying connected, and that connection's there again? That one is more about the people and the things that I'm going forward for. And I mean, even yesterday, you guys, like, it went off. No, the 1:38 one went off. And I'd had someone's name written down on a piece of paper as a potential, business contact. And I have had this person's name for like 4 days. And it was passed on to me as a recommendation because someone thought that while I was, they thought of me when someone said they were looking for this next business opportunity, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready for that. That's not my thing. And I had already decided, or I doubted. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just realized, like just now. So thank you for the therapy. I appreciate it. I started to doubt whether or not I was ready for that. So then for 4 days, I delayed calling that person. And that means I was not connected at all to what the goals and visions I have for my future. And I'm not kidding you, yesterday at 1:38, my reminder went off, to connect and take action and confidence. And I was like, ah. And it was right on my phone, right next to that Post-it note with that person's name and phone number on it. And I was like, okay, I got to call him. I got to call them and see what this is about. And I mean, I don't have like a bleh, I don't have a major praise report or anything to pass on with that, but to just show you in another way to of an example to connect to the desires that you have, to the feelings that you can intentionally refresh and have as triggers that you set for yourself. Put reminders on your phone. I'd love to hear that from you, what kind of reminders you're putting there. If it's too personal, don't tell me what it is. But I'd love to know that you've put reminders on your phone, or that if you have something like Justin mentioned up there in the comments about another habit of something that you found that's helping you to be more deeply connected to generating the joy, to generating the energy, to bringing the joy, and to having overall clarity, a greater clarity on yourself, your passions, that you continue to pursue your passions, even in the midst of all of the a lot that we're experiencing. If you don't get that reference, go ahead and rewind back to the beginning. And that you're, even here on a Friday, go read through these comments. There's so many gifts and so many points of joy that have been shared here today. We just got one in right now. What a gift that Ben Cook is sending an email to our hero, Sir Ken Robinson, about the call for educational resources and conversation he put out today. Hope our efforts at NewMinds.tv are shared with those in need. Woo! That's all I have to say to that. I gotta move my body. That is so exciting, and that is a super huge gift. Mostly, that action happens, right? We don't know what the outcome is, but the fact that that even happened, that action was taken, no more doubting, no more delaying, no more dividing. You guys, it's going to be a great weekend, and it's up to you, right? We can't stop the waves, but we can learn to surf. That's a quote I put up earlier last week, and it's been like bookmarked in front of me every day, and maybe that's one of your triggers that you set up as a timer in your phone. Maybe you just say, learn to surf. How awesome would that be? Maybe you say, maybe you write it on your hand for the day, and that the next time the next challenge comes at you, that's another wave. I'm learning to surf. I'm learning to surf. I'm releasing my tension. I'm setting my intention. I'm practicing. I'm learning to surf. And I hope that serves you well. I hope all of this week, if you haven't caught much of it the rest of the week, everything's on newminds.tv, not just from me, but also from Justin and Ben, who have both piped on. Oh my word, you guys! I haven't had my coffee yet. I need to go release this tension and go get some coffee. Who have piped in to our comments today. And I know that there is also a From the Vault session later on today where Mr. T, who's Doug Thompson over here on our chat group, on our comments, is doing a little cameo for a throwback lesson from newminds.tv. Bring the joy, take the joy, share the joy everywhere you go. I would love to hear about the new triggers that you're setting up for yourself for success and for being more deeply connected to who you're meant to be so that you can better serve those around you. As always, thank you for tuning in to Real Inspired Learning here with NewMinds.tv. I'm Kristen, and I hope that today you spend some time pursuing your passions so that they can eventually become your talents. Pie crusts, yoga, all of it. All of it. You guys have a great weekend.